So I came here, I got the car, and I went on roads, and I discovered within 10 seconds that I'm gonna die if I keep driving this cheap car. Why? Because basically nobody notices you. You're nothing on the road, right?
Hey everyone, welcome to the Talk Lab podcast. Thank you for clicking this episode and thank you for joining the Talk Lab podcast. If you are not one of the, part of this great family, you should be clicking that red button on YouTube and joining this family. Be part of it. It's a growing family right now. We're proud of it and would be glad to have you as well on this family. If you haven't checked our social media yet, you can go ahead and check them. Links are in the description. If you want to check the Talk Lab podcast on other platforms such as Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Anghami, and Spotify, links are in the description as well. Today with me, I'm excited for this episode with me, Mohammad Al-Jandali from Qatar. How you doing, bro? It's been a long time. It's been a really long time.
In 3 months.
How's it going?
3 months. It's been going well. It's
Oh
been
my God.
good.
Yeah,
How about you?
yeah. Well, things are going well for me as well. Canada is going into or Ontario is going into another stay home order within a lockdown, which makes it weird for the podcast as well being recorded right beside my bed. You know what I mean?
Same thing
Yeah,
happening here. Like
yeah.
a lockdown after a lockdown, but
Oh my God.
well, I mean, we all got adapted with the system. You know what I mean? Like, and a click like this, all of, for example, of my work became on Zoom. All of the meetings now are on Zoom, and it's fine. I actually like it. I actually like
Well,
a side of it more than going physically to the workspace. Uh, it's just me. A lot
oh
of people
really?
like that.
Wow. I don't think so. I don't think I. Yeah. On my side, I do hate it.
Like think of the time you save, right? When you start a meeting by sending a link, or on the other
Right.
side,
Right.
starting a meeting by get dressed from the top and from the bottom.
Just for me, it's just the top. All right.
Exactly. And staying in traffic for like 30 minutes and then reaching there and then saying, yeah, it's a time saver thing. You know what I mean? It is though
Yeah.
important to see the team you work with between a time physically, right? At least once a month, at least.
True. True.
Like
I
I
mean,
mean, for example, we started the work. So we used to work physically, me and my team in animation in our business. But when we started to do Zoom, right, a month ago, we all like it more. It's look, the system, if you're applying the system in the right way, for example, the workspace, right, there's a check-in time and check-out time. Uh, when you're doing it online, you should
right.
apply the same system. So we check in all together on the same link online, right? And then we work together. It's just like us and working in a physical space, right? But instead of it being a 3 by 3 meters, for example, it is online. We see each other, we communicate with each other. If anybody has a problem, they can say the problem. We can ask, right? We can get answers. We can get the work done just on the screen. Uh, if you want to go to the washroom, the washroom is there. If you want to go eat, your kitchen is there.
Kitchen is really close by.
Exactly. Now in
I
Ramadan, of
agree. I
course,
do agree.
there's no point of having a kitchen just besides you. But like uh, before Ramadan,
Other than the annoying idea of thinking about food while you're really starving to death. It's great. It's a great experience, though, isn't it?
experience, but like fasting here is nothing like fasting in Canada, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah. It's been difficult. It's been
It is
difficult.
easy for us here, and it is hard for you guys there because it's fasting here. I mean, it's 30.
It's a longer time. Yeah,
Like fasting in Canada, 5 years ago, it was 19 hours. Right? It's nothing
yeah.
compared to here. When I say that to people here, they're like, "Wait a second, man, we're dying here." Like it is hard. Before the sunset, we're done. We can't do any extra hour. I was like, I don't feel it. I just feel
Yeah. It's
the moment I start to need food, That's it. Sunset comes and then I can eat and I can drink. It's easy.
Snap, yeah. Just to explain to people, I just had work today this morning, and an hour before iftar, I was biking with my friend. We biked 10 kilometers. With the fasting thing, it doesn't help. I'm just
Time. That's the healthiest time in the day to do it, actually.
yeah, fingers crossed. I'm trying to lose weight that I put on during every lockdown. Me being lazy as well and eating more food and more food. Like I put on some weight. You know what I mean? Like yeah, like before you left, I had lost some weight, and then after you left, I put on some weight as well. You have to see me now. So
Man, we're living the same story. I came here 3 months ago. I was 82 kilograms. Now I'm 95. I'm
holy,
12 kilograms in 3 months. It's
I
like
mean, I can't
because the
I
camera,
can't blame you.
when I do the camera like this, and you can see that you can see all of the fat I have, right?
Oh, that's why his camera's up, right?
Why the camera is up. Okay, let's be safe. Let me feel comfortable when talking. Right? Let me gain some confidence.
Ex- exactly, man.
And I wear
Seriously, like I can't blame
black
you.
for this reason, by the way, because black hides the fats you have.
Seriously, yeah, exactly. Wear dark colors. That's what I would say. You look sharp.
Exactly. Anyways,
So
how was
yeah,
the podcast? How was it been?
well, aside from this weird station that we're in right now, me recording out of my room, I'm not sure if this camera shows, but like it might show the side of my bed because my if you remember, my desk is right beside my bed. So um it's difficult. It's not an easy thing to get used to, and I'm dressed up from the top up, and from the down there it's
Getting
shorts and
a lot of
stuff.
difficult time because a lot of people just stop. They say it's a lot of headache to continue. Okay, let's take a pause. Let's take a break. It is
Uh,
important for any project for it to succeed at any point in the future to adapt. Whatever changes, just adapt.
Man, it's been difficult. It's been difficult on everyone, but I want to speak about the experience of the podcast because that's what I've been into, and you've been with me since the beginning as well. Since what, episode 3, I believe, or something like that. If my information was right, episode 4, I think. Since episode 4, you've been with us, and you've been helping out a lot. You've been such a big part of the team, so you do know the difficulties that we get into between studying, between exams, between life and lockdowns that happens every 2 3 days, new rules that go in, and you need to like include space, you need to work with time schedule of the guests and everything. It's been a mess all over the place. When they announced the new lockdown, it wasn't easy. um I think people can recall my recording when I posted it on my private Instagram. My eyes were red. I had just contacted the team, and I looked like a mess, literally, because I was trying to wrap up everything. We had like 3 recordings that week. Um, we had to cancel them, of course, and remove them because and the Ramadan is coming at that time. You're like, okay, well, the guests cannot record in Ramadan because their schedule might be all over the place as well. So like it's been for a podcast this small, it's been difficult. I can't imagine how has it been for businesses that are based on let's dine in and eat, right? Like restaurants that have had to close down. It's very difficult, especially the expenses that they're putting on. What's your take on that?
The businesses that really can get through that easily are the businesses that are based on online production, right?
Right.
Businesses that are based on digital marketing services, businesses that are based on animation production, the production you can do using a laptop, using a computer. Uh, that doesn't require any
True.
physical movements, any existence in a physical space. And these businesses are the businesses of the future, in my opinion. This is why, by the way, we're doing animation. This is why and the team I have, we started doing animation 2 years ago. And we've done a lot of projects, right? We've done a lot of sales. We've worked with so many companies.
Great projects.
No okay, COVID actually, yeah, COVID-19 affected us in the beginning, but then I realized that as long as your business is based on a screen, on a laptop,
Yeah,
on the screen, you would never lose
you're
anything.
unbeatable. Kind of unbeatable.
Exact. At the same time, we all, right? Everyone that has a business that's based on, as I said, something digital, right? We all learned that there's no need for an office to run your business. We all
True.
learned a lot of new concepts. Uh, as for the lockdowns that are happening right now, the hardest thing is is when it comes the first time, right? The hardest experience is the first experience, and this is why I'm saying the first lockdown was a thing. Now it is not a thing for at least for me and my team, right? We have the work we're
True,
doing.
because
It's no difference if it's managed online or if it's not managed online. And at the same time, it goes back to the business owner, right? If the business owner likes to spend money, there is numerous ways to spend money and to lose money, and to get into a
right.
loop where you have a lot of expenses and you're not making a lot of profit. No, you're not making income. You're just losing money and then closing the business. And this happened to a lot of people. But for a business owner that understands that has a clear mindset, right? They can switch easily. Now we
I
do
mean,
study
yeah.
expenses. Now after COVID, thanks to COVID, we do study expenses, right?
Mhm.
We do study where the dollar is going, which in my opinion we didn't.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, it's again like we're talking about businesses that in the beginning were able to send everybody home and be like, okay, you're gonna work from home, you're gonna use your laptop and use your computer, in comparison to like also like businesses that are like you have to be physically there to work. Like you cannot like let's talk about for an example a business that hasn't closed down, which is Tim Hortons. You cannot make coffee from home, right? Like you can how are you going to send coffee by email or something, so it's impossible for it.
Think about it this
I'm
way.
not sure.
There's two economies, right? The
Yeah, go ahead.
online economy and the not online economy. Let me call it on earth.
Yeah.
Right? There's on earth businesses, on ground businesses like Tim Hortons, as an example that you gave, and there's Skip the Dishes or Uber Eats, or in Qatar we have something called Talabat. This is like the top used application. Okay, if it wasn't for the online business that's operating and being managed online, uh, these on-ground businesses would never exist in such times, right? This happened
True.
before and the past, where there were lockdowns and businesses literally. If it wasn't for Uber Eats and Skip the Dishes, for example, half of the restaurants you guys have in Ottawa would have closed. Right?
They would have closed
Hortons
down long
being
time
one of
ago.
them. Tim Hortons being one of them, right? During the lockdown,
Yeah.
a thing that came out to people in a day and a night, right? A thing that's called COVID-19 that might kill somebody. Nobody has the what is it? Nobody has the confidence to get out of home. Nobody would buy a coffee
No.
from Tim Hortons. They would lose a lot of sales. But if it wasn't again for these businesses that are being managed and that are being managed on a system that is set online, these on-ground businesses wouldn't exist in such times. And
They
therefore,
would have lost.
if you have the time, if you
They
have the
would have
passion,
lost that a long time ago. Yeah.
and at the same and therefore if you have the time, you have the passion to start a startup, right? Focus on online businesses that can be
Yeah.
totally managed online, and on digital production. Well, I would not advise that because anybody would come with a digital production company would be my competitor, right?
I
but
would
uh,
go in.
but it is something good
There you
because
go.
the expenses are low. Expenses are low, literally. There is the expense of the system you manage your company through, and then the expenses of the monthly subscriptions of programs you guys use and stuff like that. Of course, there are expenses of the assets you buy, such as the laptops, the softwares, and stuff like that. But that's it. There's no need to buy cars for your employees. There's no need to rent an office for your employees. And
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly. Well, you cut on one side, but then you have to use a bit lower expenses, like because like it's not always, it's not always like, those high expenses. Let's say when you had a physical office, you had to provide like the smallest things: paper, supplies, food, everything, parties every time, every now and then. That's all considered part of the expenses that you have to consider to operate. Um, Now it's online and it's a bit different. I've never thought like in my life that we would be, talking over Zoom, or just like, operating a business over Zoom. Like even before COVID, Zoom wasn't that big. You know what I mean? Like it's COVID that like launched it there.
Exactly, exactly. But I mean, man, people have to adapt quickly. Like people just like to find any
Yeah,
excuse, right? Just adapt. Like on Zoom, for example, we do the business on Zoom, right? We have the team of animators, the graphic designers, the copyright writers. What we do is we manage our work there. We make productions that people see and that people think an entire company worked on that, which in fact is a team of six managing their time in the right way, right? Managing their business on an online
exactly.
platform. Everybody is in a country. There's no need to be in the same borders. It's
What's
that easy, but people just like to make
Yeah,
excuses and to think of barriers and stuff like that.
again, for a lot of companies, you can operate basically, you can move to online and everything. But let's I just want to switch it over a little bit and just talk about what's pissing me off right now, which is like, the new restrictions and everything. And I'm not sure if you read about what the new rules are, or had any idea about what the new rules are.
Nope.
Oh, so basically, we're cutting, by the way, over Zoom a little bit, so that's why there might be a little of lag in there. But yeah, so now police are allowed to stop you. Walk if you're walking, they're allowed to stop you and ask you where you're going. And we're getting to a point where it's like it's now it's hitting your side, like your freedom. You're getting on the nerve of people, right? Like like before it was just like masks and everything, and it's for your health, right? Like no one's saying no, but like stopping people and deciding what's essential for this person and what's not, it's a bit, on the line, it's a bit on the edge. My take on that is like, like what's essential for me might not be essential for you. I've been talking to a lot of people, and like I've been talking to people who are students, I've been talking to mothers, I've been talking to single dads. It's what's necessarily for me isn't necessarily for them. Like I don't need to get kids clothes, right? But they do need it. It's a necessity. It's very essential. Like a kid wouldn't understand that we're in a pandemic,
We
right?
disagree. I think we disagree more than what we agree. We have things to disagree upon more, me and you specifically.
Yeah, yeah. That's what adds things to the podcast. That's what adds the spice.
My opinion in that, okay, I do believe in something called freedom, but I do not believe in the full freedom, right? I have a problem with all of everyone that posted on, you included, that posted the
Okay, yeah.
complaint with all the respect, by the way, with you posting complaining about this new attitude, police attitude, right? I do believe that for a system to work, you cannot get the acceptance of everybody in the system, right? There is something called power and energy, power and let me say class. Okay, as a president. Okay, now we're getting big. This is
Yeah,
than
I
us.
want to hear that.
This is bigger than us. But I'm just saying my opinion as a president, right, of a country. If I was a president of a country, and sometimes I would enforce rules in the use of power, right? Police there for a reason. Police are not just there to take pictures with Canadians, right? They have to play a role, even when it comes to things like stopping a pandemic, helping to stop a pandemic. Okay, what would prevent you now from taking a car and going to a party if it wasn't for this rule? Now you're afraid. Why? Because you're talking to me about that, and you've talked to so many people saying, how can they ask me
Well,
what's a necessity for me? Okay, I know you are a responsible citizen, but you have 40 million other Canadians, right? If there's 5 millions of them like you, and I doubt, responsible citizens, and they know where to meet and when to meet, there are 35 million people that are not citizens, that are citizens but are not as responsible, right?
we're not
Which makes things
responsible.
worse. Which makes things worse.
I kind of agree on one side. I disagree on the other side. On like again, just saying that because like we police have acted upon before upon stopping parties and stopping big gatherings before. Again, it's been normal, but like I feel like it's getting on the side because like you haven't been to the shops here. They have blocked certain sections, thinking that this is not a necessity. This is not essential right now for you. I do agree on some side of the some parts of them, like some parts you don't need to get it right now. I don't need to go and buy a new camera right now. It's not the time, right? Um, though what pissed me off the most when I was sorry, when I was passing by the kids side, and I was like, 90% of that is blocked, and 90% of that is now considered non-essential. And from me talking to older people, um, you never know what becomes essential with a kid or not. Like you never know what your kid needs tomorrow, might need tomorrow. I mean, you're on the way of getting that as well. So you should put yourself in that situation. I feel of like having a kid in your yeah.
If it's come to that, if it is to that right now, okay, there's a point in what you're saying. Oh, what you're saying is basically they are choosing what's necessary for us while we can choose for ourselves. It goes back to the same point. You know what's necessary for you, but a lot of people are just they're not as
Again, yeah. Again, again. Not everything is like. I mean, what was working with them is like, for an example, curbside pickups. That was working. That was okay because like everything is technically still open. You're not allowed to go and shop and like in big shops. You don't need that, but you can still buy the same things, but you have to like order it ahead of time. It decreases like the interaction with human beings, and there's no one around you. It's only on the curbside. It's either they're you know picked up and dropped off beside your car, or just like at the opening of the shop in like in a big area that's in the open world. There's you're not in a closed mall, right? In comparison to like what was before. The problem is before there were no rules of like let's open it only to curbside. They went from a full lockdown to let's open everything. Malls are okay, and people, of course, like when you give people this kind of freedom, they're gonna take it because they've been pressed all this time, and they saw an opening, so they're gonna go towards that light, right at the end of the tunnel. They're gonna run towards it. That's what people did, and not saying it was right. Big gatherings in the mall wasn't okay. Like it's still not okay. We're still in a pandemic, right? But then now we're going from like, okay, it was kind of full open, numbers increased, let's go full lockdown. And it's still with confusing rules of full lockdown, not really full lockdown. Again, it's confusing rules.
Let me share my personal experience.
Yeah.
Today is my last day in the quarantine. I tested positive 14 days ago.
Oh
And I'm
my.
saying
Oh,
that
that's a
the first time I didn't go on my Instagram account and said that. I'm saying that for the first time to everyone. I
I
tested
never knew
positive.
actually. You didn't say it. You
I
didn't tell me that, even though we text all the time.
Yeah, because I didn't want to make everybody afraid of, like, I didn't want to, you know what I mean, like say things that are, for example, I tested positive and then I'm just depressed and I didn't even think about it because I was working. But of course, I experienced some of the things that
Right.
everyone experiences when they get COVID. I tried it and it was a different experience. Okay? It's like me put it in these kind words. For example, I lost
Oh,
taste and smell for like 7 days. Every food I eat is like water. Everything I drink is like water. Water. Like there's no taste in anything. There's no smell. Uh, but like on top of that, there were nothing. The disease that I got at least was very light. Was very
thank
wasn't
God.
intense. It wasn't hard. It was just the quarantine that was different. Like I am sick, but I have to stay home. But if it was for any other disease, I am sick, but I do not have to stay. Now, where did I get corona from? Like most
That
probably
disease from.
from an exhibition that I participated in. Uh, I think most probably because it was just afterwards. It was an exhibition that they allowed as many people in as possible. It wasn't so too much crowded, but there were a lot of people. And but at the same time, okay, I'm sharing my experience here. At the same time, and the same day, I made some important connections for my business, for my animation business. Okay. Now I tested positive and I stayed at home, but now I'm good. I am good. And same thing happened with more than 90% of the people that tested positive in the month. Wasn't it good that I made new relationships for my business? It was good, and now I am actually working with them. It's beneficial. Although I tested positive, right? Let me just put it in this
No,
way.
you're paying the price, buddy. No,
What is it?
now you're paying the price, buddy. So watch out.
I already paid the price, but what I'm saying is
Okay.
sometimes what you're saying is right. Sometimes people need to make business. People need to work, right? And them losing the work is more effective than them getting sick.
It's more negative. Yeah, I agree with you.
You know what I mean? Like there is a point in that.
Yeah.
So my personal experience actually goes with what you're saying, but my opinion, aside of that, is that
It's,
a country has
it's
the right.
all the way on the opposite side.
A country has the right to enforce its rules in the way it thinks right. At the same time, doesn't without breaking, of course, like the 101 how to become a human. You know what I mean? Like without breaking the human what do they call it? Human rights, without breaking human rights limits.
Again, so we kind of agree and disagree on some sides of that. 100%. I just want to wrap it up on that side because we have another topic as well to talk about. And, if you leave me talking about my feelings about this, we're not going to end on that side because, and it's any resident of Ontario, I'm super pissed. And, it doesn't like, unless I see anything, a change, I wouldn't be, happy about it. And that's what I believe in. Yeah, it's we can put it as well like when like again to the argument though there's a lot of differences as well like cuz you lived here for some time, you lived in Canada and you lived in Ontario, the same city in Ottawa, for some time, and now you're back in Qatar. There is a lot of differences, dude. Like it's one side of the world to the other side. That's that switch. It's even the decision. How did you make that, man? What went into you making that decision?
Well, first of all, marriage. That's number one.
Yeah.
Second of all,
There's no running from that.
exactly. Second of all, I left. And I'm saying that for the first time. Also, I left
Yeah, yeah.
Ontario. I left Ottawa because I believe uh, it's. I believe in something called business opportunities, right? If 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 you were able to make business and money in a city on the same planet, you're able to make business in any city on the same planet. If you have the right mindset. So I believe that it's not Ottawa, it's not Canada, it's not Ontario that I was able to make work in because of, right? It
It's
is
your mindset.
my connections, my personality, my work, my experience in animation. So why not trying to get into a new market, right? Why not trying to start in another place? It is a big decision. I am not only changing my business. You know that I had a company there. You know that I had
Yeah.
work running there in
Yep.
Ottawa. I left. It's almost over there. I also left the city I love. I love Ottawa. I left Barhaven.
Man,
Yes, I
man, the
I was
place.
in my DNA, and you know how much Barhaven is
الضيعة.
in my DNA. الضيعة, right? The
Yeah,
village.
we used to call it الضيعة. Yeah.
Okay, the village. It is in my DNA. I like it. I love it. And I'm probably going back, by the way. Uh,
Hopefully
but
soon, because this podcast miss you, bro. This podcast does miss you, man.
well, I do miss everything. I do miss everything in Ottawa, by the way. I'm not saying it's in something in the past. I am going to be there again, hopefully in the next 2 or 3 years. But for now, uh, here is a new challenge, right? I lived in Qatar for 5 years, and then I went to Ottawa for 5 years, and now I'm back in a place where I thought is gonna be the same
So
place I left, but it's totally different. It's a new country. It's been a new place in 5 years. I don't know how. Don't ask me. So when I came here back, I faced a lot of challenges, a lot of things that for example, I'm gonna start with I'm gonna tell you something that's very a small example, right? On a small scale. I got a car when I came here. I rent a car, and it was a Honda. Was the model was Honda. It was a Honda City, right? Back in Ottawa, I used to drive. I drove Honda Civic, Honda Accord. I love Honda.
and the last one, your Beamer, your BMW, the last one.
I didn't enjoy it as much, but I sold it. I was very sad. I felt sad when I was selling it. Anyways, so I came here. I got the car, and I went on roads, and I discovered within 10 seconds that I'm gonna die if I keep driving this cheap car. Why? Because basically nobody notices you. You're nothing on the road, right? You're someone with zero value on the road because you drive a car that's cheap. Now I
Oh
am
my
not that
God.
person. I do not value myself based on the car I drive. But you living here makes you, right? Makes you try to makes you think this way because most of the cars on roads are big cars, huge cars. Toyota Land Cruisers, Toyota Lexus, GMC, and these like big cars, right? For a small car to drive between them, you can get into an accident easily, right? This is a first change, for example. It's something in the culture. It's something in the culture. It's not just
Interesting.
people spending more money on cars. No, it's something in the culture. Most of anyone that can buy a big car, an SUV, they do buy it, even if they don't need it, even if they're a small family. And that's what happened after 2 months. I got an SUV. I was like, no, this is not happening to me. This is not happening to me. I want to drive safely, right? Uh, is
Uh,
it for the love of the SUV? I've always told my friends I would never drive an SUV. I love sedan cars. I love low cars, right?
that's one of the differences that between you and me, by the way. One of the big differences, by the way, guys. I lots of them. Oh God, yeah, because I love trucks and I love actually like SUVs. Actually, the highest I can get the car, I would, and you know that.
saw cars. I saw cars here where like the wheel of the car is like the height of the car I'm driving. It's like that. It's like
Oh
okay,
my god.
I can't see the driver.
It's dangerous basically to drive, small cars in Qatar because you can get squashed to death. So tell me more about the differences that can happen. And tell me more about some differences.
Another difference that I lived through here is the fact that you're living between your relatives, your family. This is a total different life experience.
Hmm.
When you're surrounded by people that care about you, by people that love you, uh, it's different. Life feels different, right? Than when you're in the village, in Barhaven.
Of
There's some
course, yeah.
beauty here. Some beauty in being in the village, and you know what I mean by saying being in the village. But there's also beauty in being
Yeah,
surrounded by your relatives. That's a different experience. But this is not culture. This is
I
more of
don't know how that feels.
experience. Yes, we all lost it, man, when we left our countries. But like,
Again, I don't know how that feels
yeah, we all lost that feeling when
because
we. Sorry, it's cutting.
left our countries. Yeah, there we go.
It's cutting a little bit. Can you hear me well?
Yeah, I can still hear you 100%.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, we all lost that when we left our
Go ahead.
country. I lived that again. It is different though. Now your life is being reshaped. Like it's not just a change of a country; it's a change of a lifestyle. And I didn't only change the country I live in. I didn't only change my workplace. I didn't only change the fact that I'm now with my relatives. I also changed my marital status, and I'm now married. So it is a lot of things that are changing, right? For the past three months. But like another another cultural difference is food.
Which is one of the things that I was going to talk about actually. Yeah, I was going to say I wouldn't blame you to gain some weight there cuz let's face it here. There's not much of food choices for us in Canada, like especially in Ottawa, like there's not so many choices even before COVID. It's always the same routine, the same food that you're eating.
When I was in Ottawa, right, I had a routine of going to the gym, of eating when I'm hungry. That's it.
Mhm.
When I when I came here, it's not like that. There's things you eat in the morning, things you eat in the afternoon, things you eat between the afternoon and between evening, and things you eat before you
Yeah,
eat.
those.
And everything is different, and they're not healthy. They're tasty, right? And the
Yeah, that's a
result,
thing. That's a thing.
the result, give yourself 90 days and you gained 13 kilograms more, as what happened to me. This is what happened to me. This is the result of living in
There
this
you go.
lifestyle. And I know if I leave myself, now I'm 95. What is it? It's only 5 more kilos and I'm 100 for the first time in my life. Again, this is not
Oh
noticeable
my
from
god.
the camera because I played it well, so it doesn't appear.
Yeah, again, black clothes, cameras far away, you've got to, man.
She, oh my God, it's a killer. Because
And you cannot resist it. Just to tell people, it's irresistible.
for
I
tourism,
I, I can't
for
like
how tasty it is,
no.
and for the fact that a lot of times you are given the food by again your relatives, your things, and you can't refuse it.
You can't refuse. It's very rude to do that, especially there. Like if it's rude here, it's
And
double
for
there. Yeah,
non-Arabs
go
that
ahead.
are
Sorry.
seeing this episode, us and the Arabic culture, right? If you don't eat the food I give you, you're being disrespectful, right?
Very,
It's,
very.
it is a part of how a good human you are, right? How good you are as a human, how much you eat. And we have a saying in the Syrian accent. uh, the more you eat, the more you show love.
Yeah.
كل على قد المحبة.
Yeah. Yeah,
Uh,
exactly. Yeah, that one. Oh my god.
to this way, we've gone mad with food.
Oh yeah. I was planning my I was planning prior COVID. I was planning my trip to Lebanon, and in my mind, I had an idea of like, okay, I'm gonna go to Lebanon and Iraq later, but I know that I'm gonna gain weight, and I'm gonna gain a lot of it, like crazy amounts. Because one, there's not many choices here. Two, I know a lot of people there, and probably I'll be eating every day in a different place or a different house. You know what I mean? Forcefully, I'll be eating there. You can't refuse. By the way, it's a big no no. So I'll gain some weight. I'm still planning to go, but I know I'll gain some weight. That's why I'm getting
Go for
prepared from
dinner
now.
for 1 month. It worked for one day. I'm like, okay, I gave up. I gave up, and let's reach my goal, which is 100 kilograms, and then I can start
Okay,
again.
then I can.
I want to see 100. Like I lost hope to this point where I am seeing myself. Is it 100? No, it's not yet. Okay, I have till the end of Ramadan.
Oh, oh my god. I was hoping you were listening to the other episode the other day of me giving advice and it was 15 minutes of me giving advice on how to lose weight on Ramadan and everything. If you haven't watched that episode, you can go ahead and watch it. Please reference to it. It's a good one. You can still eat whatever you want. You just basically, plan it out during the night. And I believe it works more in Qatar because Qatar, the night is kind of a bit longer, right? Or um, it's because the day is shorter, the night is longer, right?
Yes,
Please
yes,
correct
absolutely
me
right.
if I'm wrong. All right, so yeah, like you can plan it out more a little bit. In Canada here, it's impossible. You know what I mean? You can give 15 minutes in between the food that you eat, maximum 15 minutes.
Also, for people that don't know, every year Ramadan goes backwards 10 days. So like in 5 years, it went backwards
Right.
50 days. That's a month and a half, which makes it easier. And then in 10 years, it's gonna be in winter, which is gonna be so easy.
Fingers crossed, man. Hopefully, one day, I'm hoping that I'm alive during that day. It's like to see Ramadan in winter. It's my hopes. Those are just like my dream. I don't want a BMW. I don't want a G class. I don't want anything like that. I don't want a Lambo. I want to see Ramadan in during winter. You know what I mean? That's my hope. That's my dream. That's it. It's an interesting one. Man, this podcast. Oh, oh God. The stuff that we said on this podcast, till now, or just the most interesting stuff ever.
Every episode has a different tone, right? Some episodes are abstract, some episodes are serious. I mean by abstract, have a lot of abstract content and information. Some episodes are just
Exactly.
entertaining. Uh, I love that about this podcast, by the way. Every episode has a different tone, different level of seriousness, if it's right to put it in this way. For now,
Man,
we can't be too serious because I miss you. It's been
man, I can't. This is more like a private call between me and him. That's being recorded as a podcast, right? That's literally, literally what it is. Because we haven't like this is the first time as well. Like I'm seeing him from my phone as well, and yeah, like this is the first time in like 3 months that we see each other like over Zoom. Because you're
it's I
seven
mean,
hours in
we've been
between
planning
us.
we've been planning for this episode for like 2 weeks. It's not happening because of the time zone.
Exactly. 7 hours, guys. 7 hours. That's what it is. It's highly annoying because if it's day in our time, it's night in Qatar. If it's night in Qatar, it's day in our time. It's always you know
Qatar,
all
it's
of
a country that's gonna besides Saudi Arabia, because I know some people don't. When I say Qatar, they don't necessarily know where it's located. It's a country beside. Let me give some information about Qatar. Okay,
Geography for dummies, all right? Let's go.
country besides Saudi Arabia. That's one. It's a country that has a population of 2.3 million.
Oh,
A
God.
country that's gonna host the World Cup next year, soccer World
There
Cup.
you go.
It is a country that is rich of gas. It's a country that's being living through the quick-paced development. Let me put it this way: fast-paced development, and it is a country that speaks Arabic as a first language, speaks English as a second language. The Qataris population is 500,000, so 500,000 people, and then another 1.5 million are not Qataris. There's a lot of Syrians in Qatar, a lot of Palestinians, a lot of Jordanese. There is not as much Lebanese. Um, and yeah, and as I said, drive an SUV.
Man, SUVs is the big thing. Range Rovers. If you know, you know. Man, man. So no BMW, no small BMWs there, right? No sedans.
There is, but it's a bad decision to buy one. It's a bad decision.
My God, my God. It just makes me feel that my car is as well like smaller because my car is a crossover between.
Exactly. Because I mean, look here, you will be respected as a sedan driver if your sedan, let me put it this way, is a very expensive one again. So, for example, if you're driving a Lamborghini, for example, or like a Porsche or
A Rolls Royce.
Mercedes, for example, the
Oh,
year model, okay, you'll be respected this way. Or BMW, for example. Of course, the sedan, but it has to be this year. It has to be made this year. You know what I mean?
so it's a very social, like it's a very materialistic status that you guys go with.
Let me say it's not. There is part of it like this, but it's more of like this is how the culture. This is what the culture is used to, right? You have to drive a high car. You have to, and plus it's not like the roads of a big difference that I saw here is the roads, right? For example, in Ottawa, biggest road we have is 470, Highway 470. And Highway
Oh
417
yeah.
is mainly three lines, but at some points it's four lines and four lines.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's five, right? That's the maximum.
Right.
Now the average road in Qatar is 7 lines and 7 lines. That's the average road. And the seven
Holy.
lines, two of them would take the way to go left, while in Ottawa, all of them can go left. Like not all of them, but I mean, you stop on the same road, and then when it goes green, you have to wait for cars to pass, and then you can go. Here, it's different. For the size of the roads, there are a separate way for cars that are going left, separate way for cars that are going right, because you have seven, right? One
My
to the
God.
right and to the left. That's four left in the middle. It's that big. It's a huge city. I know it's a small country, but it's a huge city. A lot of cars and people drive so fast. And I'm saying an average is seven. There is road here that's more than 10 lines. Can you imagine 10 and 10?
My God. Dude, I drive on 3 lanes and yeah, I get lost sometimes. Just saying. Just saying. Not the best driver right here.
You have to focus. In Ottawa, honestly, I can drive with calm emotions. I can drive and listen to the music, and have tea,
Yeah.
right? And maybe open the window and smell some fresh air. Here, when you enter a roundabout, you're in a war. You're in a war zone. You know what I mean? Look
My
right,
God.
look left, go fast, go quick between the cars. It's like a fight, and then you have to cross that roundabout within a seconds, or otherwise you're gonna be hit by another car.
My God. Again, difference in culture, like, equals difference in lifestyle as well. Like I know about like as well India, let's say they would have 3 lanes but 6 cars on the 3 lanes. They wouldn't care. They wouldn't care. They're like they go in between. Lanes are just like for you to be a direction. Like it's just a to pave the way to just show the direction where this road is going. Other than that,
Have roads that are better than, for example, Kuwait roads, or better than Saudi Arabia roads, because it's more modern. It was made just 2 years ago, 3 years ago. So it's
that's
and the
interesting.
driving here is more safe because I went to Saudi Arabia. I know how driving there is, and everybody knows.
Oh yeah, and if you don't know, you can Google it. You can actually watch YouTube videos. I'm not saying anything about Saudis because I don't want to be attacked by Saudis. By the way, I want to keep them to my side because if uh, they can boost up the channel. Just saying. I want their support. I'm just
In fact,
yeah, yeah. I'm just saying it as a joke, by the way. But though, like they're like their way of reckless driving is impressive to me. It's always been impressive to me, especially for drifting. Man, those people are teachers. That side, there's no safety side, nothing. They just go.
and I came here, for example, let me share this story. It was my second or third day, and after the lockdown, because after the quarantine, because when I came here, I did that. I was driving, as I said, the Honda City, and there was a car, okay, going out of a road, of a service road, and I stopped to let it go. Within seconds, a car coming fast behind me started to like flash for me, and it was like dangerous. I don't know what to do. Okay, I stopped for it because this is what we do in Ottawa. We have something called driving ethics, right? We stop for other cars. That's what I did. I stopped, but I
Right.
was gonna get killed. I was gonna get killed. So I was like, after I stopped, the driver, she decided, okay, it's weird. He stopped for me, and I didn't understand what's happening. It was in a matter of seconds. I stopped. She looked at me because I stopped for her, and then she decided to go like this, right? But I saw that car coming too fast and flashing from there, so I went like it was in a matter of seconds,
Holy
an accident would have happened. And from that day, I decided I am not gonna give road for anyone. It's my road. I'm driving. I'm gonna get to my destination no matter what.
man, man, I'd be frustrated just to be honest with you. Like I wasn't even planning to go and drive in Lebanon because I know how it looks there. I lived there, but I haven't tried driving there. I learned driving in Ottawa, but I still am afraid. There's this barrier that I don't want to cross. You know what I mean? Like I don't want that experience to happen. Because by the way, the places that I go to, it's like because like they're more to the countryside more than the city side. There's no roads. It's non-existent. Like even lines are not non-existent. There's no like the city that I was, they called it a city, like, because like it's a big gathering and everything. There's no traffic lights, zero traffic lights in the whole city.
Having no traffic lights is better than having traffic lights that the red colors they have means green colors, like Lebanon, like Beirut, for example. Lebanon. I know Lebanon, right? You lived there. I went there too many times. If a driver sees a red, that means it's a green. If it's a yellow, it's a green. If it's a green, it's a green. It's always a green traffic light.
See, traffic light in Lebanon is just a suggestion. You don't have to follow it, buddy. Oh god, yeah. you know, you know the hustle, man. Yeah, yeah. It's there they don't now they follow it. Now there's police everywhere, and lately I think after I left, it was by I think after I left by 2 years or 3 years, they started putting new laws out there, and they had to like enforce those laws.
They are trying, but like if you're in Lebanon, you have connections. You do whatever you want. It's like
Yeah, yeah, of course, dude. Yeah, you can get out of it easily. Just saying.
just saying.
Not trying to say anything. Oh God, yeah. Because I'm going back, right? I don't want to upset anyone. Just I'm going back.
And I feel like when you're having me on the podcast, you're like, please, please, Muhammad, please stop. Okay, we're gonna change the subject. Every time I see your face, you're like, oh, okay, change it. Change the subject.
Oh my God. Dude, I feel you wanna, get your revenge on one time because I made you talk about something one time and you're like, okay, every episode that I'm in here, I'm gonna make him talk. Which I like, by the way, which I love actually. No, I don't regret what I say on this podcast. What I say is just what I said. I have 100% decided to say that.
Clarify to everyone, right? This is a space where anyone can say whatever they want. And this is a space
Exactly.
where we're not afraid of what we say, because what we say expresses what we think. And what we think is important for people to know, right? Because we process that together. For example, I said an idea,
Yeah.
you said an idea, I disagree with you. I say why I do disagree with you. If people used to believe in what you believe in, they can listen to the other opinion, right? Instead of just being locked, right, in one way of thinking. Same thing happens vice versa. And the podcast, I like that about
Exactly.
the podcasts. But like, I mean, some podcasts don't have that as an element. The element is speak freely, right? Speak freely.
That's the thing. Yeah, that's the thing that I hate. I hate, like if I disagree with you, it doesn't mean that I hate you. It just means that it's my opinion. I disagree with you. That's it. Like, we might get like sometimes it happened on this podcast before where, me and the guest, like I either convinced them that my opinion is right, or they convinced me that their opinion is right, and that's the whole point of a discussion. That's the whole point of a correct way of discussion is me respecting your opinion, you respecting my opinion, and we either come to an agreement or we agree to disagree.
Exactly. Like, I mean, the point is, I like joining discussions that are fruitful, right? I
Yeah, yeah.
hate joining discussions that the point of the whole discussion is just to have a discussion. I get tired
i
easily.
i have I have ran away a lot from those kind of
I, I,
discussions
I
all
get
the
tired
time.
easily, and I can feel that the person that intends to discuss something with me, I can feel that the his intentions is just to speak, is just to debate. And I most of the times I just say, okay, whatever you want, whatever you believe in, I'm not gonna get
You're like, you're right, just leave me alone.
You're right. You are the smartest guy I've ever seen. But like, just leave me alone, right? If you really want to listen to my opinion, then the discussion would be fruitful, because I am always open to other opinions and I can discuss them. There are some people, and you as well. I know you, right? You can listen to other opinions. You can process them in your mind, and then you can respond. You don't get into discussions just for the fact of debating, just for the entertainment of debating.
Sorry, we actually cut for like this 1 minute for some reason.
It was
It's calls over internet.
yeah. لا لا, it was recording from my side, and I stopped. I was saying, no, I like the discussions that are fruitful, and I don't like the debates that the entire intentions of it is just debating. So it got my part, so you can use it in the video. But like now, you can just ask questions,
Awesome.
because I stopped in a smart in a right point. You can just
Don't
maybe
worry,
you can
this will
like
not make it to the final cut anyway.
exactly, maybe if you wanna end the
Just
discussion.
as bloopers. Just as bloopers, maybe it does make it.
Yeah, even if you wanna, for example, end the discussion, because like I stopped at a place where I was saying I like discussions that are fruitful.
Yeah, and I agree with you. Like it's like it doesn't. You shouldn't get into a discussion where like I don't know if it would be your thing or not, but like if it comes to me and it comes to you, Mo, I feel that we both disagree on that side of like if it's not fruitful, if there's nothing that comes out of this discussion, it's just a waste of time. Period. It's a waste of time and energy. We both agree on that side. We both 100% agree on that side. It's just a waste of time and energy. You shouldn't get into it. It's just you have 10 million stuff to do. Go do them, go finish whatever, but because at the end you're not going to change their opinion, they're not going to change your opinion, and you both are left of like just fighting each other. And I've seen that happen like before.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah, friendships has ended before because of that. And yeah, Last thing I wanted to ask, which because like this, this is coming to like an ending of this podcast. We're moving towards that, and just last thing that I wanted to ask: how does COVID rules work in Qatar? Because we know how it works now in Canada. I just want to compare it a little bit to Qatar, as we spoke about it in the beginning of the podcast. We spoke about how it's working with Ontario and everything.
So basically, it is very similar to what's happening with you guys. What's different here is the applications. There is an application for every person inside the country. You're not allowed to enter Qatar without having this application downloaded. The application tells your status, whether if you tested positive or negative. There is a light. Sorry, there is a color that tells your status. I'm going to show it to you guys. Wait a second.
You're right.
Okay, so as it's shown here, it's green, right? If it is
Oh yeah.
green, you're allowed to you're allowed to enter malls. You're allowed to go to enter any place basically because they see it's called ihtiraz. Ihtiraz meaning in English uh,
Hmm.
security, being secured or whatever like that.
Yeah.
Anyways, so this application, if it shows that you are in a green status, this means you can enter any place. If it's this means you can enter any place. Now, sorry,
Exactly. Just to translate. Sorry. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Just to translate. احتراز means precautions. Because you said the word and we wanted to make it clear. There you go. So yeah, you were saying if you wanted to enter a mall or you wanted to enter a shop or something,
show them this. You're always asked to show them this. And if it's yellow, this means someone
you're
that
in a potential. Yeah.
tested positive was close to you. And then if it's yellow, you are in a quarantine of 14 days. This is like very bad because you may open ihtiraz the other day and you see it yellow. We don't know why. You must stay at home. If it's red, you tested positive. So when I tested positive, it went to being red. Red meaning you cannot leave your home, right? And we have police borders on roads, right?
Mhm.
Randomly on board. So, for example, I want to go out of my home. I turn right, and it's fine for a police car to be stopping the car and stopping every car and asking to show ihtiraz. If it's yellow, that means you broke
The law.
the law. Now, this is my wife's ihtiraz, and a lot of people. This is red because she tested positive. Me and her,
I
right?
see.
But mine went green because I was before her.
So this is, as
She,
you were saying,
she
this is your last day of quarantine.
exactly. She took COVID from me. Uh, but yeah, so this is red, right? As you guys saw. So this is how it's systemized here. It's all through the application. Now, as for rules, it's we're not allowed to have gatherings outside,
Of
neither
course, yeah.
inside. We're not allowed to restaurants now. They don't have dine-in. They just did the lockdown a week ago. You can just pick up your food and go out. But everybody now uses delivery, just like Uber
Yeah.
Eats, and Instacart. For example, Uber Eats, Instacart, Dishes. We have all of these services in one application.
Yeah. Yeah. 100. It's actually, again, it's good and bad, but um, it's those are not regular times. Those are just some difficult times on everyone, and I feel like it's not only Canada, it's the rest of the world that's facing this virus. Though we have to get out of it together, like instead of just like fighting the rules and fighting the stuff. Again, it was very great having you on the show again, because this show actually really missed you, man. And hopefully
Show as well, and for everyone that's watching, excuse the non-seriousness in the talk because this is like the first time I talk with Ahmed for like 2 months. It's like a
two
podcast.
months yeah.
Listen, right? Just listen. It's not like there's not like a lot of
If you guys remember the casual episode that we used to do, this is literally one of them. have any other guest. We just, it's me, Mo, catching up on some stuff and talking about interesting stuff. Actually, a lot of people like the episodes that we talk a lot, like, about this kind of stuff, because it has a different taste. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like I'm more me in front of people more than if I have a guest or have someone. It's just with you. It's just different. Because we used to hang out together. We did everything, like, beginning of the podcast till what we did, like, I think 6 or 7 months, where, like, it's a necessity of us seeing each other every day, study, work, everything.
I miss these days. Because
Man,
you know why I miss them a lot? They were like my last days in Ottawa.
man, yeah, I feel you. Well, hopefully, we see you back in Ottawa. Hopefully soon. Hopefully everything works out for you in Qatar as well. Um, the business as well. Hopefully, it's going well, and I'm hoping that we get out of this situation as soon as possible. Not sure if you needed to add any word to that.
I hope, of course, I am back in Ottawa to make episodes with you, Ahmad. It's been great doing this podcast. Now it's our fourth episode, I think, or fifth, maybe. But
Yep,
this one
I
is a
think
bit
fifth. Yeah,
different. Life has changed in the past 3 months for me and you,
yeah,
uh,
for the both of us.
and for the podcast. Of course, it's what it's 5 months old, right? Half a year.
Um, Half a year now, 6 months. Yeah, the podcast is like 6 or 7 months
Good
old.
job,
So
you guys are doing a good job. You guys are really working hard on it, and I like how within 2 days you've decided to change the place of the settings of the podcast and just adapt with it being online. And I am happy that I'll be the first one doing an online episode
episode, yeah,
on Talk Lab that I'll be remembered in 10 years.
exactly,
First online
exactly.
episode with Muhammad.
Exactly. Dude, your kids will go back to this episode and see it. It's like, that's our
Why
dad
are
on Tech
you
Club.
emphasizing on the fact that I'll have a kid within next year? And man, don't emphasize on that idea. It's out of my mind now.
That's okay. I'll download the episodes even if we decided to, like, if you decided to hide them, I'll download them. I'm the evil one. I'll send it over to your kids and be like, that's what your dad used to say. Man, oh, man, thank you for joining me today.
So much
Uh,
for having me.
Thank you, man. If you have watched the episode till the end, and if you haven't subscribed yet to this podcast, I don't know what the heck you're doing. It's been 24 episodes right now. This podcast there is not gonna end any soon, so you better catch up and watch it. Watch the previous episodes if you haven't caught up on those. Subscribe to this podcast. Check us on social media. Sorry, check our social media links in the description. Check us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Anghami, and Spotify. Thank you for watching today, and have a good day.